From the transportation sector to building laws, no structure must be erected without a building permit clearance. This is according to the General Manager of the Lagos State Physical Planning Permit Authority, Mr. Kehinde Osineke, who made this comment during a sensitization campaign on compliance to physical planning permit rules and regulations. Mr. Osineke says it is mandatory for individuals or even corporate bodies to get approval for construction before going ahead with any building project in Lagos State.
In the month of May, 2 buildings collapsed in Lagos. A 3-story building caved in on Ibadan Street, Ebute Meta, where 10 people lost their lives. Meanwhile, another 4-story building collapsed on Alayaki Lane, Freeman Street, Lagos Island, claiming 4 lives. This recurring incident prompted the Lagos State Building Control Agency to embark on an evaluation, evacuation and demolition of distressed buildings within the metropolis. The State Physical Planning Permit Authority is also educating the public on the benefits of compliance to physical planning permit laws.
Thank you. God bless you.
The team moves from Lekki to Sura in Lagos Island, where a building was sealed up due to a lack of approval.
Hey,
Again, the leadership of LASPPPA talks through the process of acquiring a building permit.
Once there's an intention for the developer to have intention of obtaining planning permit, what you need to do is that you will apply to the Lagos State Physical Planning Permit Authority. We have our district offices located everywhere in the state, in all the local government. We have our district offices there. So what you need to do is just for the developer, to go to that office with all its documents, all the required documents to obtain that planning permit. So that is just the procedure. But the procedure is that first, what you need to do is that you get your architectural drawing ready, which is one of the documents, your intention, this is the plan I want, so we get it ready. Then the proof of ownership, which is title document, will be part of it, as well as the survey plan. Those are the 3 documents that is very, very important. You take those documents to any of our district office located throughout the state. So once you get there, all they need to do is that we have an officer there that will look at those documents. Once they look at those documents and they feel that that can be granted approval, so they will now follow you to site to go and inspect that site. On getting to the site, there are so many things they need to look in there at the site. Whether the land is under Identon wire, is very close to a canal, so all other things they need to know to confirm that that property belongs to you. You know, once that one is done, and they will look at the drawing, the architectural drawing that has been submitted. Once it is okay, then the assessment will be given to you. That is, the assessment means that how much for you to be paid to the government. Once that is done, then the applicant will be instructed to go to any of the designated bank and pay that assessment fee to the government covers. See, it's almost the same thing. It's the same process. But the only thing is that your drawing that you are bringing to town planning office will be captioned as built drawing. So it won't be a proposed drawing now, because when you say proposed drawing means that is your intention. The building has not been built already. But once the building has been constructed and you want to obtain planning permit, fine. So what the architectural drawing will be that the proposed, as we have it on the ground, will be brought down to town planning office for assessment. And when that is brought, the only thing here is that the document that will be submitted, because you need to submit to us a letter, a letter from the engineer certifying that construction is fit and is habitable. And at the same time, you will be told to go and obtain what we refer to as a non-destructive integrity test, at least to carry out a test on that structure, that structure is fit. And once we have those documents, the application will be granted approval. But don't forget that you'll be penalized having built that development before coming down for the approval. The same thing applies to both whoever have that intention of obtaining planning permit for any development. So definitely what you need to do is that you come to the office, then they will assess that drawing for you, and if you have built that development, you'll be penalized for it, and that's what we refer to as penalty fee. So if the property where we have built cannot be granted approval, then that means that that approval will not be accepted. So where you have built that type of development, we have to demolish it. Probably, that is why it is even important for the individual developers to first, before even buying that line, you need to come down to our office to come and confirm whether that property, where you want to buy that property, is where you have been granted approval. It is one thing for you to have an intention of putting up a residential development, and the government is now saying that you cannot put up that residential development. It is only the commercial development you can put there. You understand now? So, and if your intention is to put that type of development there, we only tell you that, look, there's no way you can put this type of development here. So if you have not purchased that land, you have not acquired that land, then you still have your intention of going to another place, go and look for that land that will be suitable for that development you have in intention, for your intention.
And there's a warning from the General Manager of LASPPPA that anyone found contravening the law will face the consequences.
What we are trying to tell the good people of Lagos State is that there's enormous benefits inherent in voluntary compliance with these town planning laws and regulations. And one of it is safety of lives and property. And to a very large extent also, we are also going to, if not eradicate, minimize or bring to the lowest level this unfortunate incident of collapse of buildings. Because when people build voluntarily, in the sense that we'll be able to adhere strictly to our rules and standards. And particularly, the National Building Code, that's the provisions of the National Building Code, will also be enforced during and after constructions. One of it is that before you embark on any form of construction in the state, that is building construction, it is mandatory that you obtain planning permits. And after obtaining that planning permit, it's also compulsory that you proceed to our sister agency, Lagos State Building Control Agency, to collect what we call a letter of commencement. That's you inform them of your intention to embark on that proposed development. In that wise, they will be able to monitor and ensure that the right professionals are engaged during and after the construction of that particular project. And one of the consequences of non-compliance that, look, for one, the property, once apprehended, will be sealed off by the agency and by building control agency also. That's the Lagos State Physical Planning Permit Authority and the Lagos State Building Construction Agency. That is one, by building control agency rather. That is one of the consequences. The other is that it also depends on the level of the infractions. If it's going to endanger lives and properties, then that building will have to be pulled down. And it has to be pulled down by the government agency. That's, in this case, the Building Control Agency. And again, another consequence that we're probably going to even prosecute the offender, that's the offenders of these planning regulations and standards.
The state government hopes that this campaign on getting proper approvals during the process of erecting structures will go a long way in averting the collapse of buildings in Lagos State.
And this is where we call it today on this week's edition of Dateline Lagos. As always, thank you so much for watching. I'm Ayotunde Balogun. Until next time, please stay safe.